Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, we want to have a look and have a discussion about what is happening in the United States, specifically regarding the root cause of the President Trump tariff program. What is the purpose of these tariffs? Well, the end goal is to get the United States to reindustrialize. The United States, for a large part, has deindustrialized. We no longer make the amount of cars. We no longer make televisions. I believe maybe one television is produced here in the United States. I could be wrong on that. Computers, smartphones, everyday products, clothing, nothing is made here in the United States. Now, we would look at this issue in terms of is it cost viable? The reason that products are not made in the United States is it is cost prohibitive, meaning companies can go elsewhere and make a cheaper product and reap in more profits. Maybe so. But there is something else that is happening in the United States that is deeper, that is more harmful, and that is the school system, the school systems in the United States, the grade school systems, university systems. The school systems in the United States are against a student graduating from grade school and then becoming a tradesperson, becoming a quote-unquote laborer, working in a factory. That is not looked upon very well. The U.S. military, same issue. The school systems in the United States, for the most part, and especially school systems controlled by quote-unquote blue state, neo-Marxist, apogeic states such as California, Colorado, northeastern states, are against students joining the military. Case in point, just 30 years ago, ROTC programs, JROTC, Junior Recruiting Officer Training Corps. These were programs that were set up in schools throughout the United States, designed to give grade school students from grades 9 through 12 the opportunity to experience, or at least a brief introduction into, a possible military career or a period of military service. There are great benefits to serving in the military, even if you don't make it a career. There are things that you will be able to do and learn that will transfer to the civilian world and make you a better person. But again, the school systems here in the United States are against those programs. Recruiting officers, recruiting NCOs, persons that are in the military, whether it's the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, would traditionally go into schools and attempt to recruit students. Tell them about the opportunities in the military. That has been greatly curtailed. There are schools that will limit the ability of the recruiter to go into those schools. At one point, if I go back to when I was in grade school, we had a JROTC program. I participated in that JROTC program, as well as many, many other students. At the time, the grade school that I went through, high school, I would say that well over 100 to 200 children participated in that JROTC program. Many of these JROTC programs are being eliminated. I read you an article here. This is about an effort that's being made over the course of the past year. A bipartisan group of senators led by U.S. Senator Shelley Moore, Republican, West Virginia, and Jeanne Shaheen, Democrat, New Hampshire, have introduced the Preserving JROTC Programs Act. The legislation would reduce the statutory enrollment requirement for JROTC programs from 100 to 50 students and prevent programs from shuttering. According to the U.S. Army enlistment data for fiscal year 2019 to 2021, 44% of regular Army enlistment came through schools with the U.S. Department of Defense JROTC program. Of these, 21% came from schools with an Army JROTC program. According to the U.S. Air Force, approximately 22% of students graduating high school with Air Force JROTC experience choose to pursue active duty U.S. Air Force service. Now, this new law would again prevent, and I don't know the status of this law, but again, it would essentially eliminate the requirement where 10% of the school would not have to be in the program and or 100 students. So you could drop down to 50 possible students in that program. Now, you have to ask the question is why are these programs shuttering? It's the schools. Now, let me go back just based on my experience with JROTC. And especially in terms of the teachers. This falls into the lap of teachers. Even when I was in grade school, there was a percentage of teachers who were against any sort of JROTC program. And you would get off-the-wall comments. I remember a biology teacher that I had would make comments such as calling JROTC students who it was once a week you would have to come in with your uniform on, and he identified those students as the Hitler of youth. Really uncalled for. But again, this is a 1960s era lefty that was very much against the military. Now, fast forward to where we're at today. 30 years from when I was in, 35 years from when I was in JROTC. It's gotten a lot worse. The ridiculing of students and or the JROTC programs is beyond belief in some cases. Beyond belief. Now, how does this tie in with the United States and its ability to re-industrialize? Well, therein lies the problem. These, what I like to call neoliberal teachers, they have been indoctrinated from grade school into university with more advanced degrees, and then ultimately they find themselves in the teaching space. They know nothing except academia, fully indoctrinated in neoliberalism, and then they take that neoliberal, neo-Marxist philosophy and they transfer that to students. It is not good to work in a trade. It is not good to work in a factory. It is not good to work. Let's face it. Do teachers work? It's an honest question. Do teachers work? Maybe to some degree they do work. But do they do traditional work? Do they produce anything? Do they make anything? Are they making society any better? And right now, based on what I have seen post-COVID, before COVID, I think COVID opened a lot of people's eyes into what was being taught in American schools, both the university and the grade school. And it should disturb you what is being taught. I would say at this point there is less teaching and more indoctrination. So as long as you have these programs, these indoctrination programs in these grade schools that are against industrialization, they are against working, they are against the military, it is not going to get any better. No matter how many tariffs that you create, we, the people of the United States, are going to have to take a close, reflective look at what is happening in the school systems inside of the United States. We are going to have to purge these school systems. Look, when you go into a classroom, and that classroom is teaching science, is teaching biology, is teaching mathematics, is teaching history. And you walk into that classroom, and that teacher, again, this is, if it walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Okay? And what do I mean by that? When you walk into a classroom, you walk into a history classroom, and you have a flag that has a black fist. If you have a bizarre rainbow flag with a gender circle in the center, if that teacher has purple hair and is a man that is dressed like a woman, you have a problem. You have a serious problem. And in many school systems inside the United States, that is becoming normal. And if you were to ask that sort of indoctrination paraphernalia be removed, you are going to get a label. You are going to be labeled a racist, a person that is full of hate and is intolerant. Immediately, if you call into question the indoctrination paraphernalia that is being placed into that classroom. These teachers also, again, traditionally have a revisionist view of American history and oppose the U.S. military coming into these schools attempting to recruit or offer the opportunity for students to join the military. And that is why you're seeing the JROTC programs starting to shutter. And they have been shuttering. Again, if we look to reindustrialize, if we look to start producing things in the United States again, we're going to have to get back to work. And the first part of that is going to be purging and cleansing the school systems of the United States. We're going to have to do this. The root cause of our neoliberal apogeic state, which is in serious decline, is caused by the school systems. And again, this goes all the way from grade 1 through 12, all the way into university. This is going to take a monolithic effort to do this. And it's going to be tough. People are going to oppose the purging of the schools. But you're going to have to do it. It is something absolutely necessary that will have to be done if we're even to start thinking about reindustrializing, rebuilding our military. And both of those issues go hand in hand. And believe it or not, it is exactly the same thing. Well, tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Is it time for a purge of the school systems in the United States? What does that look like? How does it happen? What needs to be done? Is it happening in your country as well, in terms of your children being indoctrinated by a Western apogeic state, a state that has essentially become soft, that doesn't know any form of hardship? Let's hear it. As always, thanks for joining us. More to come very, very soon. Good day.